Hi, I'm Jane Rudolph.
And I'm Monsignor Charles Minor.
I'm Father Joe Glass. Welcome to Reel to Reel.
This is a time where we all really get back into the swing of things in work and in school, but some of us are kind of getting a little bit out of the swing at this point.
I got back into the swing and I'm getting out of it already. I'm going out on retreat tomorrow, as a matter of fact, joining about 80 brother priests from the Diocese of Trenton as part of our Emmaus 2 program going on, so I'll be heading out to Malvern.
It's a good idea for retreat, though, Joe. When you think about it, many of the things we do in Reel to Reel are retreat materials.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about retreat, I think retirement is one time when everyone feels they'll be able to relax and sit back. Except we're going to meet a man who started on career number 2, and this career really influences the lives of young children.
And Father Tom Leger's gentle persuasion week after week brings us tonight to a very special issue, the real idea of living, learning to live.
And also in our interview portion of the program that's been taped earlier, we will meet Mother Angelica, Chairman of the Board of EWTN, the Eternal Word Television Network.
Mother Angelica's network reaches people of all different ethnic varieties, and right here in the Delaware Valley, there are many traditions involved in the Catholic Church, but that also go back to a deep ethnic background.
A deeper ethnic background we have in the Philadelphia area is the people from India. They have the Syro-Malabar rite. A very great number of them in our archdiocese, and you think of flowers and incense and song, you can be distracted by that only, but I miss the big point of family prayer. There's nothing more important in faith and religion than the power of prayer in life.
They come from India. They are neither Hindus nor Muslims, but rather Catholics of the Syro-Malabar rite. They are proud of their homeland, proud of their religion, and proud to introduce a touch of India to the Philadelphia Archdiocese. As director of the Indian Catholic Mission, Father John Edapilli has been an influential force in bringing attention to the unique spiritual traditions of the Indian Catholic community.
In Philadelphia, we have about 300 Catholic families spread all around the diocese and the suburbs. We are trying to get all the Indians together and use our language and use the rite, namely for the Syro-Malabar or Syro-Malangara rite, the native rites we are trying to use, and the native costumes we use. And we have in India, maybe because it is a tropical climate country, we have the bright sun throughout the year. So we have a lot of colorful vestments, colorful decorations. We have got outside processions with all kinds of paraphernalia. The Indian style of prayer, the language, the intonations, the music which we are using in the Indian prayer or Indian Mass is quite different than the Western or American style of prayer. The language, the tunes or the tones, or the whole background that would help you to get into or get involved in prayer. We use more the sensory and visual aids like incensing 4 or 5 times. Incensing has got different meaning in the Oriental or Indian background, not only to symbolize our hearts rising up to God with the smoke. The smoke has a sense of purification in the Indian culture. They use either ash or smoke to purify it. Also the flowers we use. Perhaps one of the highest form of adoration given to God is a triple arati we call. That is an worship shown with 3 important offerings of flower, lamp, and incense. That will be only these 3 offerings or worship will be given only to God, the Supreme Being. So those things are incorporated into our liturgies.
Indian Christian spirituality has a vital place in the home as well.
According to the Indian way of life, the family is the biggest unit. It's nothing outside that matters to us. It's family is the most important thing. That is the time we actually come home, make sure that we are home early for a family prayer. We have our dinners together. even though in the society we live in America, even though it is very, very hard for us to do it that way, but still, that is something we still preserve, the family prayer.
The group prayer is very important to bring up all the children in that faith and also to teach them the importance of prayer in life. And that time, the children, when they grow up, they know that that time is especially for prayers. And even if there is anything else to do, they make a point that it's their time, it's the time to pray, so everybody comes together and pray.
The culmination of the Indian spiritual heritage takes place with a special monthly liturgy.
In September, we are having the theme, the opening of the school. The beginning of education is a very important event back in the Indian culture also. Vidya Arambha, the beginning of education, is very solemn. It starts with a prayer and introduction of the children in writing or learning. So here also I am trying to get all the children together on that day for one day of recollection as a kind of a one-day camp for them, wherein they will be introduced to the different thoughts and exercises. And this Mass will be specially for the children as the beginning of their school year.
The milestones reached by the Indian Catholic community would not have been possible without support from the Archdiocese.
From the part of the Archdiocese, it is highly an encouraging attitude and supporting attitude we have. Philadelphia was the first diocese all over the world, outside India, where an official step like this was taken to take care of the spiritual needs of the Oriental Catholics of India. There can be different differences of opinion or interest, but over and beyond all these things, everybody is trying to create a better future for the society. So that is greatly encouraging and consoling.
What vibrant use of color is absolutely gorgeous, and as they said, not only in honor of the sun as it always shines in India, but also the Son of God.
We also have some more color coming for you very soon with a special guest, the Father Glass will interview.
In 1985, Reel to Reel aired a story featuring the students from Overbrook School for the Blind. Through a wake-a-thon, the students raised over $3,000 for Catholic Relief Services and the Ethiopian famine. In a special ceremony, a check was presented to Monsignor William Paul, Director of Catholic Relief Services in Philadelphia. In 1984, Catholic Relief Services intensified its efforts to combat the famine, and Catholics in the Philadelphia area responded by raising over $1.1 million. $750,000 of that total was collected in a special Thanksgiving drive. The remaining funds were due to the generosity of individual donations. Contributions across the country totaled over $4 million. On February 6 of this year, Abba Paulos Fesahe, the National Director of the Pontifical Aid Society for Ethiopia, met with Archbishop Anthony Bevilacqua at his residence to thank him and the people of the Archdiocese for their unmatched generosity toward the stricken people of Ethiopia.
When we hear the phrase chairman of the board, many of us think of old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra, but we've got another chairman of the board with us today. I'm very happy to welcome to the set of Reel to Reel, Mother Angelica, chairman of the board of the Eternal Word Television Network. Mother Angelica, welcome to Reel to Reel.
Well, thank you.
So nice to have you here. I should call you Dr. Mother Angelica. You recently received an honorary doctorate degree from St. Charles Seminary here in Overbrook.
Well, I'm very honored, very honored. And
You've
I'm
got
very
a
grateful.
slew of them. If you ever put all the letters after your name that you've been given doctorate degrees for, you'd have the whole alphabet spelled out there.
I would.
Now tell me, as chairman of the board, you have been very successful with the Eternal Word Television Network, probably the most successful Catholic programming venture going. How would you sum up your success? What has made it possible?
The Lord. I think the greatest force at the network is the Eucharist, which we have exposed all the time, because we're a contemplative community. That's what's so ridiculous about the whole thing. We have no business at television. 7 years ago, I knew as much about television as a 6-year-old, and that wasn't anything. I think our witness is to the providence of God in our lives, in our daily lives, in our missions, in the church, and religious life, that he does intervene in the most mundane apostolates, if an apostolate can be called mundane. But television is a very difficult medium.
And a very expensive medium.
A very expensive medium. And we started with $200 and no knowledge. And it's not, I understand from the experts, it's not the way to begin a television network.
Not what the Harvard Business School would recommend.
That's the beauty of
$400
God,
and some knowledge.
See, yeah. Well, that proves that the Lord has done it. I think the prayer of my sisters, as I said, are a contemplative community. They're not involved at all in television. And one of the miracles of that network is that the sisters themselves, their life hasn't changed a bit. And I thank God neither has mine.
You're still able to balance the prayer and the spirituality?
Yeah, we all pray 5 hours a day, and we're up at night 3 nights a week, an hour and a half. We take turns before the Blessed Sacrament. So the Lord has given us the grace to always keep himself as our priority. Everything has to fall under that. And I believe in giving God equal time. If I'm going to spend 4 or 5 hours working at the network a day, then I need to give him 4 or 5 hours also. So I think that is the power. There is no other explanation. No one can go there and say that it's nuns did it, because it's obvious to everybody we didn't. It's the Lord.
Now, there are some practical considerations. We mentioned finances, we mentioned money, and that seems to be very much in the news, always the undercurrent when we talk about religious programming, some of the scandals of the past with Baker and Swaggart. You must get questioned about the financial state of EWTN.
Well, we operate the network on a typical Franciscan manner. We're Franciscans, and we have to operate the network on divine providence. I ask for funds twice a week, takes 1.5 minutes. So we're talking about 3 minutes a week on a network that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I would say that's minimum. We don't get large donations. We don't get donations from big foundations or big benefactors, for the simple reason that no one thought we would succeed. I remember the first year we were in television, I wrote to a particular foundation, and the letter I got back said, in a very short paragraph, we do not believe in giving grants to endeavors that were obviously going to fail. And that's the beauty of this whole network. It didn't fail. You see, it shows the power and the wondrous providence of God.
So instead of a few large supporters, you have many smaller.
And we're debt-free.
You are debt-free.
Yeah, and we were at one time $4 million in debt. But we work very hard. We have 85 employees now, and a payroll every Friday for 85 employees is not the smallest thing in the world. Our overhead every month is $320,000. And we never begin a month with more than $2,000 or $3,000.
It runs that close.
Oh, yeah, like just a couple weeks ago, Sister Frances Bell was one of the bookkeepers. She came in and she said, I need $15,000 for a salary. And I said, why are you coming to me? I don't have it. Go to the Lord. You know, he's the one that has to provide it. I said, you're wasting your time coming to me. So I said, go put a note on the altar and tell her, go sit, kneel there a few minutes and ask the Lord. I said, there's nothing I can do about it.
How'd the Lord do?
Fantastic. Got $15,600.
Through donations. Now tell me,
see, the Lord never lets us have more than we need. See, he wants us to struggle. I think it's great. I've asked the Lord over and over, let us struggle, Lord, because I know the blessing of God is in the struggle. He bears the fruit. He bears the fruit. We must just be the strugglers. It is financially solvent, and we're not making money, but I don't want to make money. I'm not there to make money. I'm there to serve the people of God. I don't get a salary. Bill doesn't get a salary. My sisters don't get salaries. So we're operating this whole thing on divine providence. And that's the challenge. And that's the enthusiasm that we want to give the people of God.
Tell me your views on media in general. Is media too powerful today in this country?
I think it's supposed to be powerful. I just think it's misused. It's misused. It's misused to create or destroy presidents and politicians and it's used in the wrong way, and that's the way of every gift from God. That's why I'm afraid of success. I want to be successful for the sake of the souls and the sake of the church, the sake of the gospel. But there's great danger in television. It has ruined more souls than we'll ever understand. It is a power. There is no question of that. Unfortunately, you see, television to a lot of people is gospel. That's what's so bad. No matter what a person sees, if it's on television, it becomes gospel. And it's not. Some of it's half-truth, some of it's outright lies, you see. That's why our network is geared towards the magisterium. We want to be faithful witnesses. I don't want to be conservative, and I don't want to be liberal. I want to be Catholic, you see. That's all I want to be. So that the people know that there is truth, and here is what the Holy Father and the bishops are teaching, and this is what it is. You don't have to accept it. No, I got a call one night after the show, and this man said, "You antagonized me." And I said, "Well, turn your dial. You don't have to listen." See? He said, "I can't. You also fascinate me." I said, "Well, then bear your burden. You see, if you, I can't help you either way."
Sounds like you come out neutral on that one.
Yes. I would say to everyone, every Christian living, Catholic or non-Catholic, read your scriptures. If you don't know what to do in life, and theologians confuse you, pick up the good book. There you know where the Lord and what the Lord wants from you. Most of all, love. If you love, and you love God with your whole heart, and know Jesus, you got to know Jesus, and love your neighbor, you'll do all right.
Mother Angelica, you're going to do all right too. Thanks for being with us on Real to Real.
And thanks for having me.
Okay. Back to you, Monsignor and Jane.
To be a believer, as Mother Angelica shows herself to be, looks awfully nice and awful easy, but don't forget what she said. The real blessing of God is in the struggle.
It won't be much of a struggle to stay with us tonight because there's much more to come.
If I can go through life a second time, I would start off as a song and dance man and come back and be one of those guys up here, because I think the teacher is an actor.
Is everyone about ready? We're going to be late for church.
John, I hope you're putting on your good shoes.
Everyone looks so nice.
We seldom realize what we have until it's gone. Religious freedom. A message from your Catholic neighbors.
We welcome your comments and suggestions and encourage you to write to us at Real to Real, 222 North 17th Street, room 907, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19103, or call us during regular business hours at 215-668-9842.
Mother Angelica ventured out into the kind of scary world of nationwide television with a lot more than just $200 and minimal knowledge. She had faith and she had hope.
And Father Tom Leger, in telling us how the reason to live, is a good supplement to what Mother's teaching us. You know, Father Tom telling us how to survive gives us some very important points. That you have to have a unified vision of life to learn how to live.
Greetings in the Lord. Every society needs a reason to exist. In the book of Proverbs and on top of the City Hall of Camden, New Jersey, there is the expression, without vision, the people perish. And God knows we need a unified vision today. Otherwise, we are going to continue without meaning, almost on a suicidal mission. Now, we can look at art that points out to us how insane things are today in many ways. A movie like River's Edge is about a group of teenagers who have absolutely no respect at all for human life, to the point where they can even kill one of their own and feel absolutely no guilt about what they did. And then there's the movie St. Elmo's Fire, about a group of recent graduates from Georgetown University, which is a Jesuit-run college. And these kids are all mixed up. And it just points out to us that in a crazy society, not even going to a Catholic university, is going to be able to save people. And then recently we had the movie Wall Street, which is about a lot of our yuppies today who are in love with money, thinking that that is going to be the answer to all of their problems. Now, it may come as somewhat of a surprise to us, but the world was not always as mixed up as it is today. You know, back in the Middle Ages, people did have a unified vision that they could all agree upon. Back in 1987, Cardinal Ratzinger from the Vatican said that in many ways the Middle Ages were superior to our times. Well, it was easy to parody and lampoon those remarks, implying that he was trying to say that the lifestyle of the Middle Ages was superior to today. Of course, he wasn't saying that. What he was saying, however, was that at least in the Middle Ages, government and science and religion were able to agree as to what life was really all about. And if we are going to survive as a society, what we are going to have to do again is to reacquire some kind of a common understanding. Now, to do that, we're going to have to go beyond science and beyond government and even beyond religion, and to find the presence of God in our midst, and to find a common spirituality that unites us all. Now, if we don't, then we're going to go on with business as usual. We're going to have government doing things like producing chemical weapons. We're going to have science coming up with ideas like surrogate motherhood. And we're going to have religion taking refuge in fundamentalism. We're never going to agree on all the externals of a common vision. But if we can dig down into the spirit within us all and discover that we really are children of God and this is God's world, then indeed there is going to be hope for us all.
Father Leggere's intensity sometimes can give us a little bit misgivings, but we shouldn't be able to have any misgivings. What he's teaching us is easy, because we all have some reason to hope.
And to hope for the future is to touch the lives of children. And Gus Hurt did just that. When he retired after years of being an accountant, he became Mr. Hurt to a group of very active first graders.
If I can go through life a second time, I would start off as a song and dance man and come back and be one of those guys up here, because I think the teacher is an actor. And I think if you can, be an actor and you can keep the kids' attention, I mean, that's what you have to do.
Imagine tackling first grade. At 67 years of age, Gus Hurt spent 30 years as a corporate accountant. Raising a family of 7 children, he couldn't afford to teach.
I always wanted to be a teacher. I guess maybe because I felt there was a need for it. There was a need for, I think, a man in the school. There's so much, woman influence in the kids' lives that maybe with a little bit of a man there, it might sort of change their perspective a little bit. They need a bunch of love and affection and to be told constantly that they are of value. They are valuable people. That's one good thing, I guess, about teaching in a parochial school. You can tell them that God made you. This is what God did. He gave you the greatest thing, life. And then we go from there, telling them that the greatest thing that they have is they have this mind, this imagination, and God wants you to use it to learn about all his things, to learn about his world, his creation, all these things, the sun, the moon, the stars, You can't get to the moon unless you learn something, You can't get up there and explore his world unless, you know about it. So he wants you to use this thing and develop it, and that's what you're here for.
He is just wonderful. My children don't have any grandfathers, and he's kind of like a grandfather for my son. Tony had a little bit of trouble learning to read, and Gus took a lot of time with him, and now he just loves to read. He's still not really good at it, but he loves to read now. He reads stories out loud to me, and when Gus sees that he's reading a story out loud, he he just beams. I mean, in addition to Tony's face beaming, one of my friends has got a child in kindergarten this year, and she is so excited because he's going to have Mr. Hurt next year. And even her son is just excited because he gets to have Mr. Hurt. I mean, all these children just think he's so wonderful because he's like a grandfather to those who don't have grandfathers, and he's like a grandfather to those who do have grandfathers. You know, he's a wonderful man, and he's very kind and very loving with the children.
It is a job. When I used to, when I was working, I said, well, I'm going to retire from work and then I'm going to go and teach, you know. And so that, you know, the implication was it was a lot easier than working. And it's not. I spend more time working for these kids than I ever did working for Shell. Just the time that you put in for teaching, and I'm not the only one. You know, I'm sure all other teachers, you know, do the same thing. But just the concept of your free time compared to what I had before free time. Wow, I was free as a bird before.
Grandpa, everything is changing fast. We call it progress, but I just don't know.
We were writing something yesterday, and some of the kids, all of a sudden, they seem to click on what you're trying to get them to do, and they do it, and they make you feel good all over. You know, you probably didn't quite explain it the way you should have, but they understood what you were looking for, and they did it. I think the greatest part is toward the end of the year when you can start hearing these kids beginning to read. I think that's the biggest thrill that there is. You just can't imagine.
Tell me about the good old days.
You know, it was a real delight to meet so many nice people tonight in our program, but Gus Hurt is something else. You know, there's no way in the world you'd ever lock me 5 hours a day in a room with first graders.
No way at all. How about you, Father?
I've never tried it. Both my mother and father, though, are teachers, and it is a special vocation. I don't think everyone is cut out to be a teacher, not by any means.
Maybe after retirement, who knows?
That's right.
No.
All right.
Join us every week for Reel to Reel as we bring you stories of faith, hope, and Christianity. We'll explore the lives of fascinating people whose charitable acts and fortitude have touched the lives of many. Sometimes their spirit will surprise you as ordinary people accomplish extraordinary works of love. And it's all part of another week on Reel to Reel.
So until next week, please take care.
Goodbye, and God bless you.
Good night. See you next week on Reel to Reel.
Travel arrangements for Reel to Reel by Atkinson and Mullen Travel.
Are you 18 to 35, single or married? Then mark off this Saturday. That's the night when our young adult prayer group meets at St. Charles Seminary from 7 to 9 p.m.
We've been meeting together for 4 years now, and the numbers keep growing. That's the Spirit's power.
So get in on the action of the Spirit in your life. Soon you'll be inviting others to come.
See you this Saturday at St. Charles Seminary at 7 p.m. Need directions? Call 215-668-HOPE.